So in the last session, good morning guys, good morning everyone. So yesterday we had an introduction on JMeter and we downloaded JMeter and set up JMeter. At the same time, we installed Java also, though for those who are not having Java installed on their machine. So we installed Java, 64-bit Java, right? So what is this 64-bit Java guys, by the way? What is 64-bit? What is the other one? If the one that we installed yesterday is 64-bit, what is the other software that we have?
32-bit.
Right. So in softwares, we'll have 32-bit and 64-bit, right? So most of the modern software will be 64-bit only, mostly. However, there are some software which are 32-bit also. Okay. 32-bit and 64-bit software. Right? Now, so we installed 64-bit Java yesterday. And observe here, so when you install 32-bit, so how do you identify whether if a software is 32-bit or 64-bit? Or else suppose on your machine you have some software installed, right? Now, so if you go to C drive, program files, your operating system drive, right? So observe here, there are two directories over here. Observe here, program files and program files x86. What is the difference between these two?
Memory consumption, sir.
Memory consumption. No, it has nothing to do with memory consumption. Lakshmi, what is the difference between program files and program files x86? Did you observe any time? All of you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Previous class, sir.
What is that?
In program x86, we have more files, I think, compared to program file.
Okay, so let me explain. So in program files x86, all the 32-bit software will be installed in program files x86, and all the 64-bit software will be installed in program files folder. So yesterday, like we installed Java, right? You can check on your machine. Of course, I did this long back. That's why, you can see, you can observe here. So Java is there in program files folder. So can you check on your machine, those who installed Java yesterday only? Can you please share your screen? Just to confirm, I will show you that. Okay. So open, File Explorer, Windows C. Type Windows C on your keyboard. Don't use mouse. Start using, you should be comfortable with shortcuts, right? Yeah. Go to this PC, expand this PC, go to your C drive. You have only one drive, right? So go to C drive. Yeah, there you go. So you see, there are two files, right? So two folders in this C drive, program files and program files x86. Now, yesterday you installed Java, right? Go to that program files folder once. Yesterday, which program files? First, go to program files folder. So you see Java over there, right? You can see that, Java was installed. Java was installed yesterday, isn't it? Here it is, see. So 16
to 91.
You can see the date, right? So you can see by this, you can tell that, Java was installed yesterday in this folder, program files folder, isn't it? So all your 64-bit software will be installed in this folder. Clear, guys? And all your 32-bit software will be installed in program files x86 folder. These are some computer basics that you should know, everyone should know. Okay, about this 32-bit and 64-bit software. Thanks, Anusha. I'm stopping your screen share. All right. So now let's put for today, let's see. let's have an introduction on JMeter. Let's continue with JMeter intro. And I'll set up the sample application on your machine and I'll give you a walkthrough of the application. And though I already shared this WebTools sample application, right? I shared through my Google Drive, right? And most of you downloaded and extracted it. Are you ready with that? So if you did not extract it, extract the zip file. You know how to extract the zip file, right? Yes, please speak out.
Pawan, is it available to me? I don't think so. Yeah.
What is that, Anu?
That sample application setup?
Okay, you didn't get that yet?
No.
Okay. I'll share it now. So I'll share it now.
Okay.
Share it to me, Bhavan.
You also didn't receive it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll share it. Once we complete this JMeter intro, I'll share it. Okay. So before starting JMeter, right? So let's see like what all are the open source performance testing tools in the market, right? So the first and foremost are popular open source tool is JMeter, Apache JMeter, right? What is Apache here?
Server name.
No. Here Apache is a software foundation which develops some open source software. Apache Software Foundation. Okay. So which develops some open source software. Okay. It's a non-profit organization. So it develops open source software. Clear guys? And so JMeter was designed by Stefano Mazzucci of the Apache Software Foundation. And it is the most popular open source load testing tool with almost as many features as commercial tools. It's the most popular open source performance testing tool or load testing tool with almost as many features as commercial tools. Can you list down some commercial tools? Can you mention some commercial tools for performance testing?
RPT,
Load runner,
Neoload,
Yeah, load runner, neoload. What else?
Silk Performer,
Silk Performer, WebLoad, RPT, IBM RPT,
K6,
K6. K6, I think it's an open source tool. I think it's not a licensed tool.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have to check that. Okay, so these are the popular commercial tools: Load Runner, WebLoad, Silk Performer, IBM RPT, Neoload. These are all commercial tools. So JMeter is most popular open source load testing tool with almost as many features as commercial tools are. Right? And you can record the test scripts. So this is the beauty of performance testing, right? So you can record the test scripts. You need not write any code from scratch. Your tool will record the test script and you can run the large scale load test and view various performance metrics in easy to understand charts. Right? So we'll see that in the tomorrow session, how to record a script. Or else if time permits, I'll cover it today, how to record a script with JMeter. Right? So you can record, actually, you need not write any code from scratch, but you can record the test script, right? And there is also an active community that makes it easy to find everything from plugins to answers to common questions. There is also an active community, means there are a lot of users who are using JMeter because JMeter is very popular open source tool. There are a lot of users who are using JMeter. And if you are stuck up with something, or if you are facing some issues, there are a lot of forums available for JMeter. Okay, there are a lot of forums, there are a lot of discussion forums and a lot of websites, right? And there are a lot of, nowadays we have a lot of WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups for JMeter. So wherein we can get some help if you are stuck up with something, right? So apart from JMeter, is JMeter the only open source tool? Right? No. So we have a couple of other open source tools also, like Locust, Grinder, Gatling, etc. Okay. So let's discuss one by one. So we should know what are the other open source tools also in the market. Right? So Locust is also an open source load testing tool that lets you define user behaviors in Python. Right? So basically, JMeter uses Java. JMeter is a Java application, whereas this Locust is a Python application. It is developed in Python. So you need to have some basic, knowledge in Python, right? And it can send millions of simultaneous users to the application. Locust is another open source tool for performance testing. And with its beautiful user interface, you can easily see key performance metrics, charts, failures, exceptions, and other information. The only drawback is that it requires Python programming knowledge. If you want to use Locust, you need to have some programming knowledge in Python. That is the drawback. Okay.
But sir, Python is easier to learn than Java, right?
Python is easier to learn.
Yeah.
Java is also easy to learn. You see, you need not be an expert in Java here. So if you want to use JMeter, so you just need to learn some Java basics. Okay, some Java basics. You need not you need not be able to write, hundreds of lines of code. So hardly, even if we are writing some code in JMeter, it will be hardly 5 to 10 lines, not more than that. You need not write hundreds of lines of code like developers. The same is the case with any performance testing tool, right? You will not be writing hundreds of lines of code. Okay. So the next open source tool is Grinder, right? So Grinder is again a Java-based load testing framework that uses Jython. So Jython is a Java implementation of Python programming language. So it's kind of combination of Java and Python. So that's why they named it as Jython. So Grinder is another Java-based load testing framework. And another open source tool for performance testing is Gatling. So Gatling is a developer-focused load testing tool for web applications. And companies looking for a web-based interface with real-time monitoring can also check its commercial frontline enterprise product. So Gatling is an open source tool. They have commercial tool also with much more advanced features. Then that is called as frontline, and it is a web-based interface, right? So you need not remember all this. However, remember that now JMeter is not the only open source tool in the market. Apart from JMeter, you have couple of other open source tools like Locust, Grinder, Gatling. Just remember the names. That's it. That's enough. Just remember these names like Locust, Grinder, Gatling, because in the interview, if they ask you, right? So generally, it's very difficult to find some resource who is having experience on Locust, Grinder, and Gatling also. If companies want to use him, or if any company is using Locust or Grinder, and if you have experience on JMeter, if you have JMeter knowledge, still they may recruit you, because if you know the performance testing concepts, right? Tool is not an issue. Tool is not a big deal. Okay. If you know the performance testing concepts, you can switch to any other tool easily. Okay. You should be able to switch to any other tool. So if someone asks you, do you have any experience on Locust, or if you have any experience on Gatling, right? You should not ask them what is Locust, what is Gatling. That's why that is the intention in this slide. Clear, guys? You should be able to easily switch between the tools. Okay. If you are good in performance testing fundamental concepts, okay, whatever we covered in the last 10 classes, right? And whatever I am going to cover, if you are good in those performance testing fundamentals, to switching between the tools should not be an issue. Is it clear, guys? So one of my previous batch student, he learned load runner and JMeter from me, but he got a job on Gatling. He got selected on Gatling. So they selected on Gatling because so it's very difficult to find a resource who is already having experience on Gatling. So they recruited and he got selected for a company called Bosch, Robert Bosch. You know Robert Bosch, right? They're one of the paymasters. You know Robert Bosch or no? Guys, please turn on the camera. So, I want everyone to be interactive.
No, I didn't. I heard, I think so.
Robert Bosch, how many of you heard that company, Robert Bosch? They are into automobile spares, right? Not automobile spares, but they manufacture some key components in automobiles. And you have Bosch washing machines and dishwashers, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
wash is very popular for tools, particularly
Drilling
drilling
machine.
machines, etc. Heavy machinery, drilling machines, etc. Right? Yes or no? Next
Yes.
time when when you call an electrician or when you call a particularly electrician, right? They will be carrying this Bosch drilling machine. 90% of the guys will be having Bosch drilling machines. And you might have seen this in washing machines also. Bosch is very popular for washing machines, and they are very popular for actually most of you, if you are using washing machine, you may be having IFB, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And Bosch is the technical provider, technology provider for IFB. IFB doesn't have, till recent time, IFB doesn't have their own technology. All the technology used to be provided by Robert Bosch. Now Bosch and IFB has separated, and Bosch started launch. Of course, from past 5 years, 5 to 10 years, we have these Bosch washing machines also, which are very very quality products, and they manufacture some key components in automobiles. Okay, and it is one of the Paymaster. Okay, one of the Paymaster. It's a German company, multinational engineering and technology company, headquartered in Germany, right? And it is 92% owned by Robert Bosch, a charitable institution. So it is one of the Paymaster. Paymaster means one of the company which gives very good packages for developers or testers. Very good packages. It's a product based company. First of all, you can see the product review. So reviews actually, not product. So you can see Robert Bosch reviews in Glassdoor, right? So you can see 4.4 is a very good rating. One of the wonderful company to work for, like SAP Labs, Google, right? Now you can identify Bosch, right?
Yes.
See there's a logo here, right? So
Yes,
no.
sir.
So
Yes.
one of my student, got trained on Loader and JMeter, and he got selected for this Gatling. Bosch is using Gatling for their performance testing, and they selected him for performance testing to work on Gatling tool, and they gave some training to him. Understood? So there is one good advantage over here. Okay, so Loader JMeter, he is supposed to keep experience, and he kept experience on Loader and JMeter, but he got selected for Gatling. So he started with no expectations. That is a good thing, right? If he got selected in JMeter or Loader project, there will be certain expectations because generally you keep some experience. But if it is a new tool, right? So there will be zero expectations. Yes or no? And they gave some training, and he got settled now. Last year, I think, couple of months back, he got married, happily married, and his name is Pavan. His name is also Pavan is from Gudivada. Okay, so you should know at least, if they ask you like, do you know Gatling? You should not ask them what is Gatling, or you should not ask what is locust. If they ask you, do you have any experience on locust? You should not ask what is locust. Tell that yes, I know locust. It's a Python based tool, and it's a open source performance testing tool, right? And remember, they will give some training. If you have to work on some new tool, they will provide some training. The organization which is using that tool, they will provide some training. Clear, guys?
Clear.
Yeah. Now let us see. So as I'm going, this training is for JMeter. So let us jump to JMeter part. Okay. So let's discuss some more details about JMeter. So JMeter is the only open source tool that can be used for performance testing and functional testing. So JMeter, remember, so recently I attended one company's interview, selection process. So the first round was a written test. So there is a multiple choice question test. The organization name is Publicis Sapient. Another good company, another good product based company. I'm not sure whether it is a service based or product based, but another Paymaster. Okay, and this was asked in the interview questions. Okay, I think I have posted that question in my YouTube channel as well. So please subscribe and turn on all notifications, guys, so that occasionally I'll be posting some interview questions on my YouTube channel. So let me show you. I have posted recently one question on this. Let me show you on my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe and turn on all notifications, guys. I'll show you some, occasionally or very frequently, I'll be posting some interview questions on my community tab. Okay. So you will get as a notification basically if you subscribe and turn on all notifications. So this is one success story. One of my previous batch student got, selected recently in January and he joined in Feb. And we started, by the way, manual testing training with timings as 7 to 8 a.m. IST. Trainer name is Suresh, who is having like 10 plus years of experience in a reputed product-based company, right? Those who are having more career gap, I suggest strongly to learn manual testing first and clear this ISTQB certification. ISTQB, we are providing ISTQB certification training also, guys. In this manual testing training, for the first time, we are providing. We started this last year, so not many training institutes are providing this ISTQB certification training. After we started last year, couple of other online trainers also they started this ISTQB, but we started last year for the first time in the online training history. Clear, guys? So please, utilize that. And fees is only 5,000 for if you want only manual testing training without certification. Fees is 5,000. If you want with ISTQB certification training, fees is only 8,000 for 40 hours. 8,000 for 40 hours. So per hour it will be 200 rupees per hour, right? And please, refer any friends or relatives who are, we have openings for degree freshers also. Any degree is fine for software testing career. They need not have a BTech or MCA. Refer any friends or relatives, right? And those who are having more career gap, like 2015, 12 pass out, 14 pass outs, I strongly recommend them to do this manual testing, take this manual testing training and clear ISTQB certification. We have a lot of, demand for ISTQB certified resources. Okay. And yes, this is about this manual testing training only. It was started yesterday. Yesterday we had a demo and actual classes testing concepts will be started from Monday. And one more thing, so we are planning to start, spoken English training. This post is about that. And yeah, this is what I am referring to. What type of testing can be performed by Apache JMeter? So I would be posting these type of questions on my YouTube channel, guys. Okay. So most of them did not answer this functional testing, but JMeter can be used for functional testing as well. So all of the above is the correct answer. Here you can see JMeter is very popular for performance testing. Of course, that's why you see like 73% answered performance testing. But the right answer is all of the above. We can perform performance testing, functional testing, API testing also with JMeter. So right answer is all of the above. Got it, guys? So if you turn, you will get these notifications only when you turn on all notifications. Clear, guys? So that's why I came here to this page. And also I'll be posting some referral openings. Here you can see we got a referral opening for 12 trained freshers for one of our associate Bangalore-based QA organization, right? TechThez is a company name. The company name is TechThez. Okay, and they completed that recruitment. It's over already. So I'll be posting referral openings and updates on my new batches and all these on my YouTube channel, guys. Okay, if you haven't subscribed, so go to YouTube and search for performance testing real-time training. Okay, right now my channel name is performance testing real-time training only, though we are giving manual testing training. So with this logo, you see this logo, and subscribe and turn on all notifications to get these interview questions and all. Clear, guys? Okay, enough with my marketing. So I'm doing some self-promotion. All right, so let's go to the concepts. Go back to the concepts. So JMeter is the only open source tool that can be used for performance testing and functional testing. Guys, please be prepared to turn on the camera from tomorrow. Okay, so then only you will be interactive, I will be focused.
Okay.
Okay? And it is a free of cost tool. It's an open source tool. So it's completely free of cost. You need not pay anything, any single rupee for license, right? It's an open source tool with zero license cost. That is the next feature. And it's platform independent. What is meant by platform independent? Remember, you might have heard this term, when you learned Java in your academics, right? Or when you see any Java training videos, or any class, if you attended any Java demos, at least you might have came across this term called platform independent, right? So what is meant by that platform independent? What is meant by the term platform independent or platform independence? So Java is platform independent. Java application is platform independent. What does that mean? Suppose you write some Java program on Windows operating system, on a Windows laptop, right? You can run the same Java program on a Linux operating system, Linux box, or a Mac OS, or any operating system. You can run the same Java program on any operating system. That is called as platform independence, right? But if you write a C program in Windows operating system, you cannot run it. Or if you write any other program, any other language like C, or you have a lot of other languages, right? So Perl, Strawberry Perl, there are some old languages, right? So if you write a program in Windows operating system, you can run it only on that another Windows computer. You cannot run it on another OS like Linux or Mac OS. However, if it is a Java application, so a Java program can be there is a famous paradigm about Java: write once, run anywhere, right? There is a famous paradigm about Java: write once, run anywhere. Right? You do Google search for write once, run anywhere. Simply Google search for write once, run anywhere, right? First thing you will get is about Java, right? Why is Java write once and run anywhere, right? Write once, run anywhere, ORA, and the short form is WORA. Got it, guys? So it is a term that refers to a particular program's supposed ability to run on all common operating systems. Clear, guys?
Clear.
So as JMeter is a Java application, as JMeter is developed using Java language, JMeter is also platform independent. As simple as that. Any application written in Java language is platform independent, and hence it works on any OS, any operating system, right? Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
As JMeter is 100% Java application, you can run JMeter on any operating system. Anyone having MacBook with you? So I can show that actually, if you have a MacBook, right? The same Java application, whatever you download from Apache JMeter website, right? You remember yesterday we downloaded from JMeter from Apache JMeter website. You can download and use the same software on Mac OS also. If you are having Apple laptop, right? So you can download the same zip file and you can extract it, and you can use the same software to run on Mac OS as well. Okay, but the GUI slightly differs, right? GUI means GUI elements will be slightly different. If anyone have Java, MacBook Pro, if you join on any particular day, I can show you that. Okay. Next up. So record and playback feature. It supports record and playback feature. So JMeter supports, like any other performance testing tool, JMeter supports record and playback feature and drag and drop features. Okay. And distributed load testing. JMeter supports distributed load testing. So we'll discuss that in the last 1 week of JMeter sessions, JMeter training. What is distributed load testing? Very important concept for interviews, and as well as for your for working in any project, right? And it is customizable. JMeter is customizable because JMeter is open source tool. Developers can customize its source code. Means developers can make any changes to the source code and they can modify as per their requirement. You remember yesterday I told you that we can download the source code of JMeter from here, right? From source section, if you download this zip file or TZZ file, right? So it will contain the source code of JMeter, and you can modify that source code. Developers can modify the source code. That is the actual meaning of open source, right? So the source code of the software is also available. Not only the software, but the source code is also available. That is what open source means. Clear, guys? That is what actually open source means. Open source not just means free tool. Open source ante free tool ane kaadu. The source code is available for public. Anyone can download and use that source code. Clear, guys? That is the actual meaning of open source.
Yes.
And it supports multiple protocols, multi-protocol support, right? So JMeter supports multiple protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, SOAP, JDBC, JMS, and LDAP. It can also be used for testing database performance also. JMeter can also be used for testing database performance as well, right? And below are the type of applications that can be tested with JMeter. You can test any websites which follow HTTP and HTTPS protocols, and you can test any web services, both REST API and SOAP, and you can test database servers, and you can test FTP servers, LDAP servers, because JMeter supports all these protocols, JDBC, JMS, LDAP. And it supports mail servers protocols like SMTP, POP3, IMAP, and it can be used for shell scripting. It can be used for TCP servers. These are the types of applications. You can test the shell script applications or TCP servers also, it seems, right? I didn't get a chance to work on that. So in this training, I will be covering web protocol, this one, testing different websites, that is web protocol. And I will be covering web services and API testing. Under web services, I will be covering API testing. Okay. And JMeter is very popular for web protocol. It is best suitable for testing web applications or websites. Clear, guys? And
Yes.
API testing as well. So I will be covering both of them. I will be covering these first two types of applications, websites which follow HTTP and HTTPS, as well as I will be covering API testing as well. Okay. Any queries before we move to the next slide?
Awesome.
All right. So let's move on to the next slide then. Okay. So JMeter pros and cons. What is meant by pros and cons?
Advantages.
Advantages and limitations. I can say cons means limitations here. Means what are the limitations, what are the advantages, and what are the disadvantages or limitations. Right? So first let us discuss advantages. JMeter is the leading open source tool built in Java for load and performance testing. It is not a browser, although it simulates some of the browser behavior. We'll discuss how it will simulate the browser behavior. We'll discuss that in the due course of the training. And JMeter does not execute JavaScript, Ajax, CSS. So this is one limitation. JMeter doesn't execute JavaScript, Ajax, and CSS. We need to do some additional testing settings to make JMeter behave like a real browser. We will discuss what are those additional settings, right? We'll discuss those. And now let us quickly summarize what are the advantages of JMeter. First and foremost one is it is open source tool, as we discussed already. It is open source tool. It is platform independent. And so if you develop a script using JMeter, you can run the script on Linux box as well. The same JMeter script can be run on Linux box or Mac OS or any operating system, right? And JMeter got that power because it is a Java application. JMeter is developed using Java application. That's why any script you developed using JMeter can be run on any operating system. Clear, guys? Generally, we will have office laptops, will be Windows boxes. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Most of 90% of the organizations provide Windows laptops, right? But when you are running a test, right, when you have to run a load test, right, those servers will be Linux box. Mostly they will be Linux boxes. 80% of the servers, or at least 40%, sorry, 40% of the server operating system will be running Linux operating system. Okay. 40% market share goes to Linux and 40% of the server market share goes to Windows. Able to understand what I mean to say?
Yes.
So if you have to run a load test, right, or your most of the websites also will be running on Linux boxes, Linux operating system. They will not be using Windows operating system for hosting the websites. Okay. If you see Linux and Windows market share in server operating system. Okay. Server side. Okay. Server side. So Windows will have around 35% and Linux will have 40%. So majority of the market share goes to Linux only. Understood, guys? See, server operating system market share. Somewhere, I saw recently that Linux has 40% and Windows has 35% market share in server operating system. Show you some Linux versus Windows usage
In this
statistics.
slide only, sir.
Yes. So see here, observe here. So Linux is having 38.9%, Windows is having 19.6%. When is this data? This 17th February 2023. Right? Understood, guys? So, but if you create a Java JMeter script in Windows box, you can run the same JMeter script without any changes on Linux box also, on Linux operating system also. Right? That is possible because JMeter is a Java application and it got that platform independence, that power of platform independency inherited from JMeter, from Java, sorry. Inherited from Java. Able to follow this?
Yes.
Right? And easy to enhance. I'll show you that. So we will run a JMeter script on a Linux box also. I'll show you that as well. And if you have a Mac OS, anyone having Mac laptop, right? Apple laptop, I'll show you that, how can we open a script on JMeter script on Mac OS, right? And how can we run a test? We'll see that. And easy to enhance the features by simply adding jar file. It's easy to enhance the features by simply adding a jar file to JMeter. And lightweight and easy to install and upgrade. Right? Easy to install and upgrade. This is another wonderful feature of JMeter. If you are having any office laptop, right? And if you don't have permissions, admin permissions, you can still run JMeter. If you are, let's say you are having some office laptop, generally they will not provide your office, your network admin will not provide you admin rights, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? Those who are working, you might have experienced that. If you want to install some program, you need to raise a ticket and you need to get it done by the network team. Yes or no? Right? But still you can run JMeter because you will not install JMeter actually, but you will use a Windows batch file. But if you want to install load runner, you need admin rights because actually you will be running a exe file for load runner. Understood, guys?
Yes.
So it's easy to install and upgrade. Actually, it's not. We should not call it as install. It is easy to set up. Set up JMeter. We will not actually install JMeter, but we will set up JMeter. Okay. And flexibility. It has a lot of flexibility because you can customize the source code and all this. And now let us discuss what are the limitations or disadvantages of JMeter. Right? First thing is it supports hardly 10 to 15 protocols. Limited protocol support compared to licensed tools. When we compare to licensed tools like LoadRunner or NeoLoad, JMeter supports limited protocols. JMeter hardly supports 10 to 15 protocols. But if you take any commercial tool like LoadRunner, this is LoadRunner VUGen. I want to show you what all protocols does LoadRunner supports. LoadRunner is very powerful tool, very matured and evolved tool, and very user-friendly tool. Compared to JMeter, LoadRunner is very user-friendly tool. And it's very easy to learn LoadRunner because it is user-friendly. Suppose if you see here, so let me show you what all protocols are supported by load runner. See here, these are the protocols supported by load runner. .NET, CV user, Citrix, ICA, DevWeb, DNS, FTP, IMAP. So in each column you have 8 protocols. Yes or no? 4, 5, 6, 7 protocols. Sorry. 7 protocols only. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? In each column you have 7 protocols. In that way you have, how many you have guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? With the opponent. So almost 5, 7, 35 minus 1, 34. Load runner supports 34 protocols. Clear guys? Yes, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Right? Whereas JMeter supports 10 to 15 protocols. Okay. So that is why we mentioned here limited protocol support compared to licensed tools, when compared to licensed tools. And high memory consumption. JMeter consumes a lot of memory. High memory means it consumes a lot of RAM on your machine. If you want to run any JMeter test, right, it consumes high memory. And that is the reason I asked you to upgrade to 8 GB RAM. Those who are having 4 GB RAM should immediately upgrade to 8 GB RAM, guys. Okay. So please do it by this weekend. Those who are having 4 GB RAM. Clear, guys? Because JMeter is high in memory consumption, RAM consumption. And a heap memory issue is common while running a distributed scenario on a single machine. So I'll explain this later on. But heap memory means, what is meant by heap memory? Very, very important interview question for performance testing. What is meant by heap memory? Anyone who attended interview might have faced this question definitely. And at least first round lo kakapena, second round lo you might have faced this question. Heap memory means the amount of memory those who are already working on performance testing should answer this. Okay, what is heap memory? Okay. Lakshmi, what is heap memory? Okay, let me tell. So amount of memory allocated for a Java application is called as heap memory. The amount of memory allocated for a Java application is called as heap memory. Okay, so here JMeter is a Java application, right? So how much memory is used by or allocated by for JMeter and how much it is using, that is called as heap memory. Heap memory, that is the amount of memory allocated for Java application. And by default, 1 GB of memories will be allocated for JMeter. Let me show you that. Once you start JMeter, right, you can see it over here on the JMeter console. Let me show you that and we'll go to, yeah, here it is, observe here. Let me use annotation. Observe here, guys. Observe here. Increase Java heap to meet your system requirements. And observe here. So the by default, this is the heap memory allocated for JMeter. XMS 1G, XMX 1G. That means 1 GB of memory will be allocated by default for JMeter. And this is called as heap memory. See here, you can see here. Heap is equal to XMS 1G. What does that mean is, by default, 1 GB of memory will be allocated for JMeter. Clear, guys? And if you are running a load test, right, so you may run into heap memory issues with JMeter. I'll show that. I'll try to produce that issue and I'll show that how to fix that as well. For now, just remember that what is the meaning of heap memory. Heap memory means how much amount of memory means nothing but how much of RAM is allocated for JMeter. When you start JMeter, how much memory will be allocated for JMeter. Clear, guys? So 1 GB of memory will be allocated by default for JMeter. If you want to see that, go to task manager, right? And go to process and expand this Java. You see, observe here, there is one process running called Java in task manager. And if you expand that, you are seeing the Apache JMeter, right? Yes or no? So as a JMeter is a Java application, you are seeing that process. In the process tab, you are seeing that. And observe here, right now it is using 575 MB. But by default, 1 GB of memory will be allocated. Okay. Because we are not running any script. We simply launch a JMeter, that's it. If you open a script and if you run it right, then you can see that this memory utilization will be going up to 1 GB. Clear, guys?
Yes.
And see, Zoom meeting is using another 500 GB, 500 MB approximately. Zoom meeting is using another half GB approximately, right? Your Google Chrome browser is using 2 GB currently. I have multiple tabs in Google Chrome, right? All those are consuming approximately 2 GB of memory. You should be very familiar with this task manager. You should, you should be able to interpret this information. You should be able to understand this information. Okay, which we'll discuss that. And also I explained some basics in the one of the demo sessions. So please go through that. So in 31st January session, I explained know your computer. I explained some computer fundamentals. Please go through that session where I explained what is, how to check the CPU utilization, memory utilization, right? And all these concepts. So please go through that session, which I covered on 31st Jan. I already shared the playlist URL to everyone, right? Yes or no, guys? I already shared the playlist URL of this batch. What is meant by playlist URL? For every batch, we do have one playlist URL. Okay. So this is the playlist URL. First one is the playlist URL for this batch. Okay, let me highlight that. See it over here. Okay. So Feb 2023 batch. This is the playlist URL which is having 14 videos till now. And if you click on that, if you follow, I shared this playlist URL. I already shared this playlist URL in the WhatsApp group. This contains, all these 14 videos, 14 recorded sessions till now. Those who missed the demo sessions, please go through this. And those who are particularly from non-computers background, or those who are from computers background but don't know these concepts, please go through this January 31st session, demo session, right? And please complete all these recorded sessions by this weekend. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will not have session. So you have 3 days. Today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next session would be on Monday. So you have 3 days time to complete these 14 recorded sessions. Those who started joining from today. Clear, guys?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
So
So
can
please
you add?
complete this. So keep a target to cover at least 3 sessions per day, 3 or 4 sessions per day, so that you will be on the same page as others from Monday onwards. Someone is asking something.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, can you add me to that WhatsApp group?
Anup, is it Anup?
Yes, yes.
Anup, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Let me pause recording this. I'll take a quick pause. So I will show that heap memory issue also. Practically, I'll show you that. Next one is we cannot run the test executions in GUI mode. So you need to understand what is GUI and what is non-GUI, right? So we cannot run JMeter test executions in GUI mode. So first of all, GUI stands for
Graphical user interface.
Graphical user interface.
Graphical user interface. Right? What is meant by graphical user interface? So this is JMeter GUI. Right? We have some icons over here, right? So in the UI, the user interface, we have some icons over here and all, right? Basically, Windows operating system itself is a GUI based, isn't it? And now what is the opposite of GUI? Guys, you understood what is meant by graphical user interface first of all?
Yes, sir.
Guys, you understood what is meant by GUI, graphical user interface or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So Windows operating system is GUI based, right? You see icons, you see it's very easy to use. You see icons for everything, right? You'll have a file explorer in which everything is GUI based, right? This is the Windows GUI, isn't it? So in the same way, this is JMeter GUI. So you see icons to save, icons to start. This is to start or stop, right? This is to start. Yes or no? This is the start button. This is clear button, etc., etc. So it is rich in graphics or images. Whereas what is the opposite for GUI?
Like by using
There's
command
something
prompt.
called
Command line.
command line, right? So you have something called CLI mode, where CLI stands for command line interface. Command line interface. So this is also called non-GUI, right? It doesn't have a GUI, right? When you use a command prompt, right, we don't have any icons, etc. So everything will be in the form of a commands. Understood, guys? So we cannot run the JMeter test. JMeter can be used, JMeter GUI can be used for only script development and script debugging. Whereas, if you want to run the test, right, we should not run the JMeter test in GUI mode. Okay, can't run test executions in GUI mode. And who is stopping you? Observe here. For load testing, use CLI mode. Observe here. Don't use GUI mode for load testing. Use only for test creation and test debugging. That means to create the script and for debugging the script only, GUI mode should be used. For load testing, we have to use CLI mode or non-GUI mode, right? So JMeter Apache clearly says that don't use GUI mode for load testing. Okay. What happens if you use GUI mode for load testing is your JMeter will crash. You will get high because it is high memory consumption, because it consumes lot of memory, lot of RAM, right? You may get heap memory issues and your JMeter may hang or it may crash. So we cannot run the load test in GUI mode. And JMeter is a good tool for testing. So that is one limitation. These are all limitations or disadvantages. Okay. And JMeter is a good tool for testing web applications only, but not desktop applications. So again, now you understand, I covered already what is a desktop application. What is a desktop application? I already explained. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Or thick client applications under. There is another term called thick client applications, isn't it? This is the
Yes,
reason
sir.
I explained it. So desktop applications are also called as thick client applications. Those who missed the previous sessions, I'll cover it. I'll give a quick overview of web application versus desktop application. How many of you joined Zoom meeting from a browser? How many of you joined this Zoom meeting from a browser? You can join Zoom meeting from a browser also. You are aware of that, right? If you go to zoom.us, right? You can join Zoom meeting from a browser like this. Click on join and it will ask for meeting ID. Here you can enter the meeting ID and join the meeting. This is one way, right? So this is a browser-based application or a web application. Clear, guys? Did anyone join from a browser like this?
No.
Okay. So everyone installed Zoom meeting on your machine, right? So previously some people joined through a browser, right? Yes or no? I think Radhika joined till yesterday. She used to join from a browser, right?
I
So, but
installed yesterday.
yesterday you installed it, right? So most of you installed the Zoom client on your machine, on your computer, right? This software, and you are joining through this Zoom client application, right? So this is called as a desktop application or a thick client application. It is called as a thick client. But if you are joining Zoom meeting from a browser, this is called as a thin client application. All browser-based applications are called as thin client applications. All the browser-based applications are called as web applications or thin client applications. Clear, guys? All the desktop applications are called as thick client applications. I gave some examples before in the previous session. Please go through the demo sessions. Please complete the demo sessions. And from next week onwards, there will not be any new admissions from Monday onwards. Okay. Because we are going to start scripting also. So there will not be new admissions unless until, if they already took some training before. Generally, I won't, I cannot admit into this batch, into the same batch from next week. So what are the other disadvantages? So it is a good tool for testing web applications only, but not desktop applications. JMeter is a good tool for testing browser-based applications, but not desktop applications. We can do testing for desktop applications also, but it is not a best tool for testing desktop applications. JMeter is not a best tool. And dependency on Bean Shell and Perl, guys, we will discuss all these concepts, in the we will revisit this one in the scripting. Once we start scripting, right, we will again revisit this. You will understand what are the limitations, what are the advantages of JMeter. We will revisit most of these concepts. Okay. So, for example, dependency on Bean Shell and Perl for complex scripting. If you want to write some custom coding, Bean Shell is one option with JMeter. So we'll discuss what is Bean Shell and eppudu rastamu custom coding, own coding eppudu rastamu. So it will be only 5 to 10%. Your custom JMeter lo coding avasram ayyedi hardly 5 to 10% only. Okay. So it is easy to learn tool for even for non-computer guys, right? Because only there will be all projects doesn't require coding. First of all projects doesn't require coding. If at all it is required, it will be only 5 to 10% of the scripting effort. Clear, guys? Is it clear, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Right? And JMeter report having less features which make analysis bit difficult. This is another drawback or another limitation of JMeter. Okay. JMeter report is yesterday only I have shown some JMeter report in the evening batch. In the evening JMeter batch, yesterday only I have shown one JMeter report, basic report. Right? So I'll quickly show you that. So for evening, I am running one evening batch for JMeter. So this one. So yesterday in the yesterday's session, I covered this load test execution in non-JM mode, JMeter default test report, and how to analyze the test report and fix any performance issues. Yesterday it was a very long session for 2 hours, almost 2.25 hours. All right. So I'll show you quickly. I want to show you some default report of JMeter. Yeah, so this is the HTML report generated by JMeter. So this is how it looks like. Let me open that report and show you. So it's a very basic report, and analysis is very difficult. So it's a very fundamental report or basic report. It's not much advanced, not having much advanced features. This is the default report generated by JMeter. Okay, so that is the thing that I mentioned here. That is the one limitation that I mentioned here. JMeter's report having less features, which make analysis bit difficult. But load runner report is very advanced, and it has a lot of features. Okay, load runner or any license tool report is very much advanced, and it has a lot of features. That is one. But JMeter report is very basic report, and which makes analysis very difficult. And no dedicated support team. Another important disadvantage or limitation of JMeter is, as it is an open source tool, we don't have a dedicated support team. For example, you are stuck up with some issue, in scripting issue or execution issue. You have to depend on Google, or you have to depend on your experience, or you have to depend on your friends, right? Or you have to depend on WhatsApp group or Telegram groups or forums. Forums also there are limited. Forums are there. There are some forums because there is a lot of users are using JMeter. You can see a lot of help on the Google side. I mean, Stack Overflow and other websites. However, there is no dedicated support team. When you go for any license tool like LoadRunner, right? If you are stuck up with some issue, there will be a dedicated support team. You can raise a support ticket, and they will be able to help you. Okay, you can raise a support ticket. See, observe here, Micro Focus My Support. You can raise a support ticket, and they will help you on that. They will help you on that issue. Of course, you need to have a license for that. You need to have a Micro Focus LoadRunner license for that. but you will have 24/7 access to the support team. Whereas for JMeter, you don't have a dedicated support team. You have to rely on some websites like Stack Overflow, or you have to rely on Google search only. Okay. Or you have to rely on your friends or your experience, right? Or your seniors in your team, etc. Clear, guys? So there is no dedicated support team because this is a free tool. No one is making revenue on this. Yes or no? Why don't we have a dedicated support team? Because it is a free tool and no one is making revenue on this. They will not be able to provide support to you. But load runner license tools will have they are making a lot of revenue. Load runner is a very costly tool, by the way. Yes. Of all these performance testing tools, right? So load runner is very costly tool. License cost is very high of all these performance testing tools. Right? And that's why, like all these license tools have dedicated support team. You can raise a support ticket like this through this channel, and you can get support from the team. You can get support from the team. See, and by the way, just for information, Micro Focus was acquired by an organization called OpenText. Okay. So till now we are calling that as Micro Focus Load Runner. Going forward, we will be calling that as OpenText Load Runner. Okay, both are one and the same, right? And some of you completed load runner training also in the previous batch, right? For example, Monica and few others, Anusha, completed load runner training with me, and I'm going to start load runner in the daily evening batch from February 25th. So if someone want to complete load runner and JMeter parallelly, you can continue JMeter in the morning batch and join load runner in the evening batch. Those who want to complete it faster, complete the training faster. Okay. So these are done for today, guys. So I'm done with the pros and cons of JMeter. I'll stop it here for today and we'll continue tomorrow. So if you have any queries, we can discuss. So this is next slide is for those who are already trained on load runner. I gave a comparison between load runner and JMeter. So for those who started with JMeter, you don't need not bother about this slide. Okay. So I'll stop it here for today. And actually I thought of covering the application overview also. Today I'll do one thing. So shall we have one session tomorrow?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Fine
Sir,
with everyone. I want yes.
Sir, tomorrow I won't be able to join tomorrow actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else who can't join the session tomorrow? And okay, well, we'll
Sir, is it possible?
Monday. Wait.
Yeah. Sir, is it possible? Can we do it after tomorrow evening? That will be fine with me.
No, evening I cannot.
Okay.
So we'll fine. That's fine. So we can resume on Monday. I will share the week 1 assessment because we completed the performance testing fundamentals. I shared to a couple of you also, but it seems like no one attempted that till now. Did anyone attempt that week 1 assessment, guys?
I will do tomorrow.
So please attempt that. Please attempt that week 1 assessment. Okay. So because once anyone attempt the right, so I'll get a mail like this. Okay.
Please share the PPT.
I will do tomorrow, Pawan.
Okay.
Sir, please.
So I'll get a mail like this. Once you attempt the test, I'll get a mail like this. Your student just completed the assessment and I'll get a mail like this. So this batch I did not get any mail till now. So please attempt the test, and complete it by this weekend. Everyone should. That's mandatory, guys. So till now I have been giving only week 1 assessment, and thereafter I am giving daily scripting. But I am planning to conduct this assessment every week. Till we complete the training. So you will have 5 to 6 assessments. Okay. You will have 5 to 6 weekly assessments going
Okay.
forward from your batch. So I am collecting the questions from different companies. For instance, as you know, last month I attended one interview in Sapient, and the questions are very, very good. I really enjoyed those. There are 50 questions, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. So questions are very good. I like that assessment very much. So I am trying to collect, but I cannot take a screenshot because if you attempt a screenshot or something, photos, like it is a proctor test. Proctor, what is that? And a video on చేసి test attempt చేస్తాము. That's why I could not take a screenshot. But I'll get those questions also, and I will add it to to our weekly assessments.
Okay, sure.
I already collected some questions from Accenture and Power CTS organizations, and already I have added those to my existing assessments. I'm trying to get some more assessments, and we'll have a weekly assessment. Every week we'll have one assessment. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'll wrap up for today. Any queries before we close the session for today? Let me
Yeah,
update this.
Share the PPT.
can you send me that sample application to my mail ID and playlist URL also?
Yeah, sure. I'll share it to everyone. One more.
Yeah,
time.
I'm
You
waiting.
check that issue, JMeter launch issue.
What is that?
JMeter launch issue yesterday I got it.
Sriram. We'll see that tomorrow, Sriram. So we can connect tomorrow and see that. So I have a PTM to attend now at 10:30. Okay.